Good morning. Welcome to Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday's Cup of Faith. Today is March 31st, the last day of the month. And it looks like, true to form, the weather came in like a lamb at the beginning and it has gone out like a lion. Trust you're doing well. There is, as you know, a lot of COVID in our community at the moment, and in our life group, Middle Age Management, we've had 3 people diagnosed, so this has come pretty close to home for us. Today, in our church's month of prayer, or 21 days, I guess, we are dealing with, and pardon my little bit of confusion here, and I'll explain it in a second. We're praying for people who are broken and crushed in spirit. The reason I have a little bit of confusion is at 7:22, as I was trying to extract the file off of my OneDrive, my cloud memory, my computer crashed, which it does a lot. I've had this little laptop for about 11 years now, and I love it so much, and I don't want to get rid of it, but it looks like that's going to be forced on me soon. So, how do we pray for those who are crushed in spirit? Let me address a couple of things off the top, and overall, I'm going to say this is going to be in the form of 4 questions, and the first 2 questions are going to be about us, and then the second 2 are going to be about how we pray or how we engage. The first question is how do we overcome the pain of our own actions? When we have messed up in biblical proportions, we have wounded and we have wronged people, we have grieved God. And I think that we have 3 reactions to this. One is we go into blame and denial. Adam did it. King Saul did it. It happens. It's not our fault. We didn't do it. The second is reparation. Reparation can be good, but it can also be bad. It can be bad in the sense that we are trying to replace what Jesus did for us with how can we undo the damage. And sometimes it's like the stages of grief. We just think if we just try and put things all back together, the damage won't be done. And we have lots of things. We're going to go out and save the world. We're going to write a book. There's a lot of we're going to help everybody else to repair the damage that we have done. And the third is grief, where we actually grieve over our wrongdoings. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, my personal opinion is it's the start of a renewed life. When we authentically come to grips with what we've done, to the point that we're sad and broken about it, it can start for a new beginning. Psalm 51 verse 17, the sacrifice you desire is a broken spirit. You will not reject a broken and repentant heart, O God. What a great promise, and I think a very vital way to begin a new life. Here's the second question I have. What is God's promise for the pain of a complex life? Now that pain that comes from a complex life is very much about the actions of others. It's a crisis. It's a loss. All kinds of things that come about from a complex life. Things that happen beyond our control. Things we didn't expect. So what is God's promise? Well, in Psalm 30 verse 11, it says, you have turned my mourning into dancing. Now some of us are pretty terrible dancers, but he still turns our mourning into dancing. And he has taken away the clothes of mourning and clothed me with joy. See, God is he's proactive about this. He's assertive about this, that he will do this for us. This is his promise. Now, the next question I want to ask you is, how do we pray for others that are going through the pain of a complex life? Think about Psalm 34, verse 18 for just a moment. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and he rescues those whose spirits are crushed. Have you ever thought about praying for people, what the scriptures say? So perhaps if you have someone in mind that is going through the pain of a complex life, and they are broken, they are crushed, you would actually pray, Lord, be close to those that we love who are brokenhearted. Lord, rescue those whose spirits are crushed. I think one of the best ways we can pray is to pray what the scriptures already say, because in the scriptures we have the will of God. And here's the last question I have, the fourth question. How do we become that answer to prayer? May I offer that God gives us opportunities to be an answer to prayer? One of my favorite scriptures of all time is found in Exodus. And this is the story when God is engaging with Moses. And it's about the plight of Israel, who have been in bondage and servitude for 400 years. And God speaks to Moses and he says, look, in verse 9, the cry of the people of Israel has reached me, and I have seen how harshly the Egyptians abuse them. Now go, for I am sending you to Pharaoh. You must lead my people out of Egypt. Sometimes it's not quite enough to ask the Lord to help someone through somebody else. Lord, send somebody to that person, if we are not willing to be that answer of prayer ourselves. And I don't mean to sound so negative about that. I really want to say it positively. God has a world of opportunities for us to be the answer to prayer. On this past weekend, when we found out that somebody in our life group had COVID, it was actually a couple, our group not only said, we're praying for you, our group stepped up and says, we're going to bring you meals, because it was a difficult time for them. We love those people passionately, and we didn't want to pray, Lord, just get somebody else to send the meals. We wanted to be a part of the solution. We wanted to be the answer to their prayers and their needs. So I offer you that to you today. And remember that there's opportunities for us. Let me recount real quickly. First of all, how do we overcome the pain of our own actions? We do it when we come to a place where we are grieved by what we have done, because God desires a broken spirit, and he does not reject a broken and repentant heart. What is God's promise for the pain of a complex life? That he will turn our mourning into dancing, and he will take away our clothes of mourning and clothe us with joy. How do we pray? Pray that God will be close to the brokenhearted and rescue those who are crushed. And how do we become the answer to prayer? When we hear what God says and we see that that need could be our responsibility. So, cheers. Enjoy your cup of faith today, and I trust you're going to have an awesome and a dynamic week. Blessings for you today.